Hi, I'm Frank Saksa, White River Fishing Guide, and today we're going to talk about using marabou jigs for trout. This is a year-round pattern actually. We do change colors during different seasons. Typically in the winter months when the shad are coming through the threadfin shad come through the dam, we'll use a white jig. But any other time of the year we use the darker colors like black, brown, or dark green. The most important thing about jig fishing is the presentation, and we are to the point where we need to keep the jig close to the bottom but not touching the bottom. If you let your jig hit the bottom, it gets mossed up. And several people have different techniques. The technique I like to use is a 45 downriver angle and counting it down to right before it hits the bottom with a short little snap and just a little bit of retrieve, because these fish hit this jig on the fall. It's not a swimming presentation, it's an up and down vertical presentation. And this is what's very different than most other jig fishermen. We can't let it hit the bottom, but yet we gotta be close enough to the bottom so the trout can see it and react to it, and they hit it on the fall. Most of the time, if you carry a 16th ounce, 3/32 and 1/8 ounce jigs, will cover you for most of the water conditions. And it's obvious if the water is really heavy, we go to the heavier jigs, and of course when the flow is not that heavy, we go to the lighter jigs. The line that I prefer is a fluorocarbon, especially if you have a bright sunny day. 4-pound fluorocarbon is my favorite, but even if you had a cloudier day, you can get by with low vis green 4 and 6 pound test line, depending on what jig size you use. What's really good about using the jig is that it's a good weak water technique, because when the water gets slow, especially the brown trout, get real finicky about splashing and scaring them on the splash. Well, this small jig has such a light presentation that you can actually have a good chance of catching quality fish in low water situations.